Mail Mole for me is a love letter throwback to the PS2 golden era of 3D platforming. Or it is for me, anyway. Mail Mole, whilst it may be quite lightweight and it doesn't kind of hold itself up to the echelons of top tier platforming, has an awful lot of character and charm and fun to provide. It's one of those games where you can easily breeze through it if you want to, but for people that love time trial and speed running through their games, there's actually quite a decent challenge here of chaining up everything and perfecting levels if you want it. Just be aware though that by design, Mail Mole is designed to be a bit fluffy in the way how its physics work, and that can come back to haunt it later on in the game. Mail Mole though sees its titular character underground and out of sight for most of the game, and that is such a weird and bizarre design choice. I can't think of another game where you're in a 3D platforming game looking at your character but you can never see it. Instead it's just represented by like a dirt bubble that's going round on the screen, which will show you where Mail Mole is. The issue with this is that occasionally it will mean that you misjudge big jumps and dashes, and it will cause you deaths because you aren't always 100% sure of exactly where your Mail Mole character is. However, you will see Mail Mole when you dive out of the ground to jump and move between platforms. You can also do a jump and smash to explode crates and trigger switches. And you can also do a jump and then when you land, dash forward. And that can be really handy to get you across, say, fading bridges and so on and so forth as you go through the different levels. There's 30 levels in all, I think, across various different worlds. They're done in packs of 4. One will normally be like a speedy type run where you're constantly moving forward from boost pads and you've got to avoid enemies, reminding me very much of early Crash Bandicoot 1 games, endless runners as they are now, or, as it's been dreadedly one of the top videos that have gone through on my channels, the M&M games from the PlayStation 1. Uh-ohs. But it handles way better, may I add. The other levels are much more 3D platformy centric. So you'll be moving between platforms, collecting carrots to unlock new cosmetics for you to dress up as. They offer no additional support, but it's nice to dress up your mole as you want it. And whilst there's not too many enemies actually in the game, all of the puzzles are revolving around manipulating the world around you so that you can then continue on forward and avoid all of the traps that have been set in your way. So you'll have platforms that will tilt if you land on one side, and then that will roll like a spiked log towards you, so you'll have to land on it, jump, get over, continue. The Ghost World has bridges that will only illuminate if you're next to them, or they'll constantly fade in and out, and you'll need to time that correctly whilst avoiding spinning spiked logs. There's other ones where you're in a little ancient temple and everything is on rollers, so you'll need to kind of keep going without falling off, that kind of thing. It's all quite simple, but it's really well put together. I quite liked the graphics in this. They're really chonky and I like that low polygon feel, so that works for me. At the end of each world, once you've completed the 4 levels, and each level has 3 radishes that you can collect, and they're like the collectibles for additional funky costumes. At the end of those 4 levels, you then unlock a race, and I really liked these races. So this pits you against 3 other Mail Moles. Again, you'll just see the little like bubbles of dirt as they move around, and there'll be different colours. But the idea of this is that you kind of you can't just move forward, you need to be dashing all of the way around so that you can be the first one, and then that gives you a power core. At the end of each level, you're given a power core as well, and what these do is illuminate these giant like lightning towers to restore power and therefore life to the village that you're in. There are boss levels to complete as well, 5 of them, and there was 2 things that kind of made me go, with Mail Mole. The first thing is that lack of precision because you can't see your character, and it takes a while of getting used to. And as the levels get trickier towards the end of the game, especially in the fire levels where you're in a volcano setting, because you've basically got to move between layers of lava that are kind of flowing, or waves of lava that are flowing as you go around the different platforms. It makes it quite tricky to be able to land all of those jumps successfully and do it in time without having to kind of hover a bit and make sure that you're in the right place. The second issue, and it might just be me, because looking at the trophies of who's completed what, there isn't a massive jump. But the final boss is such a massive step up in difficulty compared to anything else in the game whatsoever. It's really well done though. So I'm like, part of me is like, hats off, your end boss is great. But also I was like, for God's sake, put in some good checkpoints, please. So what it does, the final boss, and I'll allude to it without spoiling it. Each world that you go through introduces a new type of mechanic and trap for you to have to deal with and avoid. The final boss basically is 8 mini levels running up a tower where it borrows each of those mechanics as you go around, but you need to complete them very, very quickly because there's rising lava underneath you. So you can't afford an error because then it's all the way back down to the start. And it's so much more difficult than anything else that's in the game. And I was like, oh, I need to get good. But you can't get good because the way how the lack of precision, because you're burrowing underground, means that you're inevitably missing platforms, or sometimes it mistimes when you're wanting to boost because you've kind of hit the ground at a point that you wasn't expecting to. And so there are a few niggles, is all I'll say about Male Mole, around this whole lack of precision because you can't see where you are. Once I get off my soapbox with that, the rest of the game is an absolute joy to play. The races were great fun, great music. I really like the graphical feel. I do kind of enjoy the fact that it's trying and doing something different whilst evoking back to this golden PS2 era of platforming that I love. And yeah, so I would recommend this game to people that do enjoy these kind of lighter platforms. It is a relative cakewalk breeze if you just want to complete the game. If you enjoy your speed runs though, each level has a gold, silver and bronze trophy. Throughout my gaming and getting through to the end of the game, I got, I think, 2 gold medals. And it's because you need to basically replay the game again and memorise the layout of the level and boost your way through the whole thing and make sure that you land every jump. Because as soon as you do an error, game over, back to the beginning. So if you enjoy that kind of speedrun kind of challenge, then Male Mole has got you covered. But if you just want to relax and chill with a good platformer, it's also got you covered too. So great. This is, for me, Jandu Soft makes quite a lot of retro games that are like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. This is probably one of my most favourite Jandu Soft games that they've put out to date. I'll be marking it at a 7 out of 10, but I think for some people this will score higher. So long as you've kind of watched the gameplay and you kind of think, oh yeah, that's right up my street, bump it up a notch on the score. Believe me, you'll enjoy it. So a written review will be over on higherplayinggames.com over the weekend. Until then, be nice to your postie. Take care. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane-network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.